Racing underway. Round one officially in the books. Riders trying to earn their spot to the big show. Welcome everyone to the Harley-Davidson Hooligan Racing Qualifier. It's a beautiful Southern California day here as we welcome you to the Grand Speedway in Industry Hills. No are needed on this beautiful day as riders have come from all over the globe for a chance to earn an X Games invite.
What's up and welcome to the Harley-Davidson Hooligan Racing Qualifier. I'm Brandon Graham, joined alongside X Games gold medalist Lance Corey. And Lance, Hooligan has taken the X Games stage by storm the last couple of years. For the uninitiated, what makes this such a fan favorite?
Well, really, there's such a connection between the viewer and the rider. Because the viewers last year are here riding today. You don't have to be pro. They're building these bikes in their garage, and they're coming out trying to qualify for X Games.
Yes, it's not just about participation trophies. You said it there, partner. 12 spots up for grabs to get into X Games Minneapolis. We find out tonight who secures the bag.
It's going to be incredible.
The track. We're talking about dirt out here at Industry Hills. The last couple of years, this qualifier was on concrete in an arena. Different setting, perhaps a little more mayhem.
Well, I walked through the pits. I talked to a lot of the riders. No one's comfortable tonight. The track's changing, the dirt's drying out, the dirt's getting loose, it's getting moist, and so we're going to see some carnage, we're going to see some racing, and we'll see what happens.
Well, we're going to see plenty of racing out here tonight. A look at the comp format. We begin with the LCQ, 12 heats. The winners will advance to the quarterfinals, and there you see 4 heats of 12. Top 6 advance, taking us to the semi, which will eventually take us to the main. And there you see at the bottom, Lance, top 48 qualify for X Games Minneapolis. For more, let's head down to the course with the third member of our team, Diana Dahlgren.
Be the #1 qualifier of today. And what's so special about that is because this is like your second or third time on the bike.
Second time on the bike that I raced.
Yeah, so explain to us how you come here to City of Industry and you just dominate and put down the fastest time.
I have no idea.
No idea, no pointers.
Bikes and riding Harleys and doing wheelies and stuff, and then we decided to build that bike and come out and see what we can do, and ended up putting down the fastest qualifying lap time.
So you're headed into the LCQ. Yeah. Now you have to win to go to Minneapolis. Now if you head to Minneapolis, what is the emotion going to be that you could become an X Games athlete?
Yeah, that's just a whole nother feeling. I don't even know what to think about that. It's like grew up watching X Games and oh, that'd be cool to do that. Now it's actually might come to reality. So it's pretty cool.
Alrighty, well, it's Ryan Kibbe. Will we see him in Minneapolis? We'll find out after the LCQ.
Ryan Kibbe, such a great story, and I know you grew up riding with him, Lance.
I did grow up riding with Ryan, and it's incredible to see him out here racing and then taking the pole position.
Yeah, and he represents this sport in a nutshell. It's wide open. Anyone can come from near and far. And we've got to look back at last year's Road to X Games qualifier in Boise, Idaho, to see that embodied with 56-year-old Brad Spencer, the oldest competitor in the entire field, Lance, and he won the thing outright.
I think patience is a virtue out there on this style riding, that's for sure.
So Brad Spencer raced a lot last year to get all the way into that main final. And at the end of the day, he got that plate, he got that invite. That's what it's all about. We've got a sold-out crowd here in the City of Industry getting ready to watch a little mayhem out here on the course, Lance. So let's kick things off with our first LCQ of the night. There's a beautiful look at our course. It's our first time running this qualifier here in Southern California. The Grand Speedway. The riders take their marks, as we said, truly coming from all over the world. a lot of American riders, but we've also got guys coming from Brazil. I saw some Aussie riders as well, so we've touched on really every corner for that crack at getting the X Games berth. There you see Ryan Kibbe, who just was with our Diona Dahlgren, and he said this is what, his third time he's been on this bike?
Well, one thing to note is that all of these bikes are street legal motorcycles. So really these guys ride these bikes, like you said, in Australia. They ride them around the world. In every continent there's Sportsters. And to see these bikes out here racing, I mean, someone can really get the idea and feeling of what's going on out there on the track.
Riders taking their position for the first race here to show you tonight, this LCQ. Again, one of these guys trying to get into X Games Minneapolis. And here we go. Oh, and 911, who had the whole shot, goes down early.
Just like I said, the track's always changing and riders aren't ready for what's going to happen in the first turn.
So that was Clements, who had it early but then goes down, and it's Ryan Kibbe leading the way.
Oh, look how slick that track is right there. You can just see nobody's ready for it. And that's the thing about this dirt out here. One part could have a lot of traction, one part could be slippery. It's really throwing the riders off. It's not like concrete. At least the concrete's the same the whole way through.
And another rider goes down. The race continues.
Again, patience, keeping the heart rate down, staying focused is really going to help you tonight.
7 laps to go, and Ryan Kibbe looks like he might have gotten past there by the 303 Tyson.
And that's the situation, is obviously Ryan Kibbe qualified with the fastest lap time, but the dirt changes, he's not as comfortable. Now the guy in first place is maybe more comfortable on this style dirt.
Yeah, Kibbe now in second. Should be noted, it is Ryan Kibbe's first ever race. So Tyson now in a comfortable lead with 4 laps to go. Again, the winner of each heat will be earning a spot to X Games Minneapolis.
Then why aren't you out there, Brando?
Yeah, I guess contractually I had to be here.
I mean, I've personally earned probably 10 or so spots in X Games. And
that you have.
What about you?
I'm just here to talk about it.
You do a good.
I want to propel guys like you into another stratosphere. It's not about me. You know that.
You do a really good job.
So again, the top 3 advancing as we move on to the final lap. Tyson leading the way. If it finishes, Kibbe. Yeah, pardon my mistake. As I said earlier, the winner moves on. So that's Tyson will be moving on to X Games Minneapolis. Leslie just passed Kibbe there, but it's Tyson that earns the spot to go to X Games. Our round 1 that was a little earlier tonight was the top 3 that we're moving on into this LCQ, and we had a man down right out of the gate, Lance.
I think you're going to see a lot of guys down in the first turn. And I think you're going to see somebody laying it down in every single race.
And here's the pass. Kibbe looked good through the first couple of laps, and we thought, hey, could this rookie have magic in his first ever race? And unfortunately, Tyson took that lead and never looked back except for that quick turnaround. To the victor goes the spoil. There was the checkered flag. And a final look at the results from our first LCQ of the night. Again, we've got 12 of them, 11 now. And congratulations to the 303 bike Tyson. You're going X Games. So we move on to heat number 2, our second LCQ of the night. The bikes have lined up. And they're off.
Oh, 2 guys down, just like I said. Another guy down, 3 guys down within the first corner.
Yeah, that first corner, Lance, just seems to be giving riders trouble. We saw it in the first LCQ. We've really been seeing it all night, even in round 1 before we came on air. What do you think's going on over there?
The traction on the track is really just changing between every single race and as the day goes on. So these riders are used to it being stickier or slipperier, and then they go out there for their race a little bit more excited and they're not ready for it.
So Nick Leonetti has the lead, but right now Dylan Plush trying to gain on him.
Plush is right there pushing Plush.
Oh, did he get the inside?
Ooh.
No, Leonetti holding him off.
7 laps to go though, anything can happen. Leonetti's running it wide and Plush is staying on the inside. We'll see if Plush can get the drive out of the corner one of these turns to take over. But don't forget, we have Vansko right there, number 50. Uh-oh, they're changing lines up. Nick Leonetti's staying on the inside. Plush is now on the outside.
Now Plush is going to have to try to make his move around him. Nick Leonetti out of Petaluma, California, 29 years old. Dylan Plush right behind him, a Nashville native. Three laps to go. Can Leonetti take this the distance and earn a spot to X Games Minneapolis?
Plush is not letting up though.
Final lap, can Plush make it happen? Wow, and Leonetti able to hold off Dylan Plush and earn his spot to X Games. That was some racing, man. We saw obviously the falls at the beginning, but Leonetti really went the distance.
You noticed their line change halfway through the race.
Yeah, that was interesting. We see early on, as you said, this first corner just giving riders trouble. The 94 bike going down early on the inside. And this is where he looked like he was gonna try to take that away from Plush. Plush trying to take it away from Leonetti. And as you said, a little strategy. Leonetti was playing the outside about halfway through that race. I think felt the heat, got on the inside, and never looked back. So there's a look at the final standings from heat number 2, our second LCQ. And Leonetti will be moving on.
This is live right now on Facebook. You want to give a shout out to anybody?
We're live on the internet. Yeah, hopefully my wife and daughter are watching.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I want to give a shout out to my daughter, Luca. I know Luca's over there watching.
She's not even 3 years old. If she's watching right now, I think it's bedtime.
She'll stay up past 8, no problem.
Has nothing to do with daddy broadcasting. So there's a look at our start list here today for our third LCQ. Rogers, Sargent, Boswell, Brown, Sessions, and the 900 plate, Danger Dan. Last name Dan, first name Danger.
You think that's made up?
Danger is my middle name. And it's Rogers in the 3 plate, getting the early lead.
That's good to see a clean first turn. Rogers had a hard crash in one of the heats earlier before we went live. He was laying on the track for a couple laps. He had to limp off, so it's good to see him out there in the lead right now.
Yeah, Jason Rogers did go down. We wondered if we were going to see him continue. He was able to get back on his bike. They restarted that race, and that's what got him here into this LCQ. And he's riding calm and collected right now, Lance.
Now, these guys are really starting to separate quite a bit. You notice them kind of separating them in 2 packs almost. Once somebody kind of picks somebody, they can chase each other's tail. And you notice Rogers and Sargent kind of staying on each other. 5 laps to go. We'll see if he can make a pass stick.
So Jason Rogers, our leader out of Huntsville, Alabama, trying to fend off Tyler Sargent out of Austin, Texas.
You pronounce the name so much better than me. I gotta give
I
you
feel
that.
like I could have gone any way with it. I'm gonna call him Sargent. I could go Sargent.
Get in the lappers. Lappers do not help. It's kind of like a moving roadblock out there on the racetrack. You're having to worry about the track, worry about yourself, worry about the guy you're trying to pass, and then worry about the guy you're coming up on.
Final lap. Can Rogers hold on?
And he's got it.
So Jason Rogers, 34 years old, earning his spot in the X Games Minneapolis. Let's take another look. Again, if you're just joining us, we're in the midst of our LCQ rounds. 12 heats, 7 bikes each. The top will be advancing to X Games Minneapolis, but then we move on to our quarterfinals, semis, and we wrap up the night with the main. Will we see Jason Rogers in that group at the end? We shall see. So a look at our Heat 3 LCQ results, and it's Rogers earning that spot and moving on to X Games Minneapolis. We've seen some spills every race so far out here. Let's head down to Diana. Diana, what can you tell us about the dirt, particularly on that first corner?
Well, you're exactly right. Spills on every race. The track is becoming very slick, very compacted underneath, making it very slippery. Typically what we see here with flat track racers is they're really leaning heavy into the turns. Here they can't. They're forced to stay upright, keeping the bike on 2 wheels so that they can hopefully win, go to Minneapolis. But as you can see, the track manager in the background taking a shovel, picking up loose dirt, putting it into these corners, hopefully giving them a little bit more traction.
Yeah, thanks, Diana. It's interesting. Obviously, when it comes to racing, you want to be inside, but now we've seen it in a couple of heats where guys have been able to take that hole shot early from the outside and then eventually figure out a way to comfortably get onto the inside of the track.
Yeah, I mean, it's really any man's race out there, and you notice the guys who are kind of walking away with it are the ones who are calm, and you can tell their bikes aren't bouncing around the track. They're really steady on the throttle. So yeah, I don't think it matters too much where you start as long as you stay up in the first turn and you're patient.
So there's a look at our start list for heat number 4, the LCQs. Hartman, Holbus, Pollock, Nobles, Silva, Wanarowitz. There's a look at the lineup as we're set to go for heat number 4 here in the LCQs.
Clean first turn. I think the track's getting a little bit more ridden in, a little bit stickier, or the guys coming off the track are letting the guys know, hey, take it easy on that first turn.
So it looks like Richard Pollock getting the whole shot. Richard Pollock, by the way, 67 years old.
That's older than both you and I together, I think.
Sounds about right. The oldest competitor in our field. You know, Brad Spencer is a spring chicken compared to Richard.
That's true.
Who won this thing as a 56-year-old in Boise last year. Talking talking about a 67-year-old.
And Richard's not letting off. He's still holding the lead right now.
So Richard Pollock right now with a comfortable lead, holding off Nobles and Holbus. Again, it's one of those things, Lance, as you're looking at the bio and you're just kind of, oh, he's from Poway, California. Oh, he's 67. Just jumps off the paper.
Again, look at how calm and collective he is out there.
Riding a 1991 Harley-Davidson Sportster.
That is almost as old as me. I'm born in 1990, so the bike is 1 year younger.
Great math there, Lance. What a story if Richard Pollock can hold on and win this thing and earn an X Games berth. It looks like he's going to do just that, Lance. And I'll have to get with our research department. We've got BJ Smith in here with us, who's seen his fair share of X Games, because that's going to put him in rare air as he does win it, earning a spot to X Games as perhaps one of, if not the oldest competitor we've ever seen at the X Games stage, ever. Just like that. What a performance for the oldest competitor in our field. Take another look. Well, some impressive racing on that LC Cube. Richard Pollock just a walk in the park.
Yep.
And again, I sound like a broken record because I think it just bears repeating. The man is 67 years old. And he's going to X Games Minneapolis. That is simply amazing. And that's why I love the X Games, and that's why I love Hooligan.
Why is that?
Because of those things that, were you not listening? I literally just said it, Lance. We are moving through these LCQs here today, partner. We are now on to heat number 5. And we've got some familiar names in this one. Ethan White, TJ Tucker, Patrick Garvin, Jake Pope, Seth Coleman, and Louis Louders, our buddy who we've seen compete out at Aspen.
Yep, this would not be his first time to X Games.
No, it wouldn't.
Let's see if he can seal the deal. Right there, number 57 of Ethan White was wearing some Thrash and Supply gloves.
I saw that.
I see 24, TJ Tucker wearing Thrash and Supply gloves.
I think Ethan White, it's early, might have the kit of the night between the thrashing gloves and the leather jacket, man. He looks sharp. So Louders getting the hole shot. Trying to work his way to the inside.
Let's see if he can hold on to this.
Lance, have you noticed a difference now of the last couple of heats? We haven't seen the falls that maybe we were seeing earlier, that having the benefit of riding after and seeing these guys go down?
I think it's a combination of seeing the riders go down. They're watching every race out there, but I also think the track's kind of heating up. The dirt's kind of getting warmed in there, and riders are being a little more cautious because they saw that happen every race. So, you know, we're seeing guys stay up on that first turn.
Louis Louders trying to hold off Jake Pope right now. Louders, 48 years old, a Wisconsin native. Jake Pope, 22, out of Lakewood, California, just down the street. And by down the street, I mean 4 different freeways.
Are the freeways covered in traffic, or?
Don't ask me about my commute to get here from Santa Monica. So Louders with 4 laps to go, still leading the way on that 1996 Harley-Davidson 883.
Do the math. How much younger
That's a
is the bike?
23-year-old bike. That means you were 6?
Yep, I was 6. Good math, Brando. But honestly, the cool thing about it is that the Harley-Davidson Sportster platform really hasn't changed a ton. It's a great bike.
Yeah.
You see the bike from the early 90s, and you're going to see guys out there on a 2005 Sportster or a brand new one.
Case in point, Louders is up on a 96 Roadster, right?
Yep.
Right behind him, Jake Pope is on a 2006 Harley-Davidson Roadster.
Exactly.
A 10-year newer bike, and he's sitting in second place, and those are your top 2 riders so far. And that's going to do it. Louis Louders, welcome back to X Games. He just earned a spot to Minneapolis. So Lance, we're reaching the midway point of our LCQs, and I will say, outside of some spills a little early, most of our heats we've seen first place primarily go the distance.
Yeah, I think the top qualifiers getting the inside line. That's obviously helping get the whole shot, but obviously he is the top qualifier for this race, so that he is technically the fastest one out there. That's helping as well. I want to see Rusty Butcher. I haven't seen him out there. Is he going to be out here?
I think he's on this list in the LCQs, maybe a little later. We're reached the midway point of our LCQs. It's 12 heats, and this is now number 6. Should be noted, the #1 ranked qualifier in each heat has won 4 of the 5 LCQs we've seen so far. So your point proven, Lance, about getting that inside line. So Bordato leading this thing early with Gonzalez and Tucker right behind him.
The thing about the inside line, Brando, is that even if you and the guy to the right of you have the exact same start, the guy on the inside is going to have an easier chance taking over that first position. So really, to come from the outside and take over the first position, you really need to have a better jump with the flag drops, a faster start, faster bike, better grip to the ground. It takes a lot, to be honest with you.
Bordato on an 01 Harley Sportster, 33 years old, out of Long Beach, California. And Brandon Gonzalez sitting in second place right now.
Funny story about Brandon that I know is that he was never really allowed to ride motorcycles growing up, and he brought home his first motorcycle when he was 19 and surprised his parents with it, and now he's here.
12 years later, as a 31-year-old, riding with a chance to get a spot to X Games Minneapolis, but he's going to have to pass Bordato to do it.
Both of these guys are buddies. They hang out quite a bit. They're pretty local to here, kind of living in the Long Beach area, and I know that they practice and ride together a ton during the week just for fun. So I think they're going to play, nice to each other, but they also know how each other ride.
Final lap.
But if I was Brandon, I'd run him wide and take him out.
I don't think he's taking your strategy as Bordato wins. So let's take another look at our 6th heat.
Again, you saw Brandon actually have a better jump. He was ahead of of Sean, but you notice that he couldn't get it. Look at that sliding, so cool.
So Gordado had to play defense most of that race, and he holds on.
So in the next race, I see that Sean's brother, Aaron Gordado, is going to be lining up. We'll see if both brothers are going to X Games together.
Well, speaking of Gordados, let's head down to Diana, who's with our 6th heat winner.
Sean Gordado, you have got to be so excited right now. You are going to Minneapolis, and it looks like your right foot is hurting. Tell us what happened.
I'm super pumped. I got the last transfer spot. During the qualifying or whatever, Buddy Suttles ended up going down in front of me, and I got my leg caught up in the back tire of his, and it just cranked my ankle. It's pretty swollen right now. I might have broken the bones in my foot, but shoved my boot on, had my friends help me back onto the bike and get out here and just try to do my best, and it paid off. So.
And you know what? Patience is really paying off here. You have to go slow into these turns. What is going to be the strategy going into tonight's semi and main?
It's consistency. Consistency is key, and that's just be smooth on the throttle, smooth on your entry, smooth on the exit. If you can put together all the right moves and keep it consistent, you come out on top.
Congratulations on the win here in the LCQ. Hopefully we can get your brother Aaron into Minneapolis. Guys, back up to you.
Yeah, thanks, Diana. That's an awesome story. I mean, you see it time and time again with these hooligans. It really is a community. And he said he might have a broken foot, but I'll tell you what, it feels pretty good when you earn a spot to X Games Minneapolis. That takes a little bit of the pain away. So there's a look at our start list for our 7th heat. Mikey Hill, Aaron Gordado, Jim Otley, Brian Farrow, Jeff Hogan, and Jason Albright in the 99 bike. So after Sean Gordado earned a spot to X Games, winning his heat here at the LCQs, his brother Aaron will now see if he can join him as he's set to compete in this 7th heat. Lance, you spent quite a bit of time with Sean and Aaron. They're really terrific ambassadors for what this world of hooligan is all about out here.
Yeah, they're really kind of from the beginning era of the kind of hooligan build-up. It's cool to see them make it to X Games. It's interesting, kind of their take on this, because you know, see them in full leather gear versus some guys are in motocross gear.
Looks like Mikey Hill getting the early lead.
I've seen Mikey win races. I've seen him win some pretty big races too, so he definitely has the capabilities to hold on to this win right now, to the lead and take the win.
Mikey Hill out of Long Beach on the 99 Harley Sportster. Gordado right behind him. Aaron trying to join his brother. Right now, Lance, Mikey doesn't look to be giving up any real estate.
No, like I said, Mikey is not one to lose races. Again, I've seen him win, and I think he's going to hold on to it. The way we've been seeing the riders take the lead in the beginning and take off, kind of.
They're both Hill and Gordado lapping the field. And there you see Gordado trying to get on the inside. Both these riders know each other very well.
Look at them. They're almost so close, they're going slow.
Oh! And Gordado makes the pass, but does Hill get it back? He does. But Gordado back on the inside, he regains the lead.
Who's gonna make it stick?
3 laps to go. This has the makings of the best race we've seen of the night so far, Lance.
Gordado wants to make it with his brother to X Games.
Final lap. Can Hill regain the lead?
I saw a little mistake out of Gordado. You see Hill getting back up on his back tire. Can he pull it together? Ooh.
And Aaron Gordado joining his brother. Taking over first place with just 3 laps to go. Took it from Hill. Mikey took it back on the same lap, but then Gordado was able to sneak back on the inside and never looked back. This was some racing, Lance.
You see Gordado even making some mistakes earlier on in the race, kind of having to get everything back together, and he pulled it off. Honestly, I'm not surprised that he could do it, but I'm surprised that Mikey let it go.
And here's the pass. There you see Gordado to the inside, found a small opening, but then Hill was able to take it right back off of the bobble, but Gordado was able to regain. Crazy movement, all on one single lap.
Look at that. They're both stoked for each other. They're both from Long Beach. It's hard to, give up the first position, but again, these guys are out here really to have fun.
Well, it's been the Gordado show out here at City of Industry. Let's head down to Diana, who's with Aaron.
Aaron, congratulations. You're going to Minneapolis with your brother. Walk us through that amazing pass.
Going again and again, going around chasing Mikey. I chased him in the first heat race, and we talked about it after. I couldn't pass, I couldn't get it. The same thing here, just wait, let it marinate, be cool, be cool. He slipped up. I tried to go wide, it didn't work. Tried to come back in, and I got one, and I faltered a little bit. Next thing you know, it came back around. I see the white flag, and I don't know.
You know what? Express the emotion that you and your brother, not just one of you, the both of you are now going to Minneapolis X Games.
I think the LCQ came really, it came with stress. You get there like, you have to make it work, you have to make it work. Watching my brother make it was like, okay, like, you need to do this, and I can't wait.
We're going to Minneapolis.
Like, we're going together. This is.
And you two are going to be racing against each other in the next set of races tonight. What's going to happen? Banging bars?
Whatever, it's fine. He can go. He'll take the wall, and I'll help him get there.
Well, congratulations to the Gordados, Hurt Foot, and all. Guys, what a race that was. Back up to you.
Yeah, thanks, Diana. Yeah, Sean, there you see bobbling. May have a broken foot. Self-diagnosed, but he is in some pain. But one. And then, of course, his brother Aaron is in the very next heat. And he wins in super dramatic fashion. That's what we came here to see, Lance.
That is.
That's what I came here to see. Just like that, it's time for heat number 8. John Tinsley, Chris Miranda. Get that start list back up. Fans liked what they saw in that previous heat. Let's see if this LCQ
I saw Jeremy
can live up to the momentum.
I saw Jeremy Stenberg's name on the list, but I don't see him out there on the track.
I don't see Twitch out there, but he
definitely a crowd favorite. Hopefully he's not hurt.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why he's not out there.
Tinsley, Chris Miranda. We rounded out with Carlos Sanchez there.
And may the best man win.
Tony Parent, the one 118X bike also out there. Yeah, I don't see Twitch. It was supposed to be a 6-man field, and now it's 5, as you see, as we start this thing off.
Tinsley, who was on the way outside, is up in the lead right now. Actually, wait, no, that's Sanchez. My bad, my bad. Sanchez, who was way wide, and all the inside guys kind of pinched each other.
Carlos Sanchez in the 888 bike getting a little squirrely, but he's in the lead. Can he hold on early? Carlos, 30 years old, out of Fort Worth, Texas, on an 03 Sportster. Tinsley trying to gain on him. Can he get to the inside?
Tinsley's right there. I see Sanchez kind of getting loose out of every corner, getting on the gas a little hard.
And it looks like Miranda's trying to get in the mix from the outside. Can he make the pass and get into second place?
Whoa!
Sanchez is somehow holding on to this right now, Lance.
It's crazy to watch because it looks like Tinsley and Miranda are going so much faster than Sanchez, but then Sanchez just holds on, and I think again it just proves that point. Riding slow, steady, kind of being patient is going to help you win the race. Oh, Tinsley is pushing. Oh! What'd I say? Push a little too hard, you're not going to be able to stay up.
I think that was Miranda that went down. Yeah, Tinsley's still behind him, 36.
Oh, it's Chris
Wiggins. Excuse me, Chris Wiggins.
Something's going on with the live tracking. But again, Chris Wiggins was pushing hard, and he may have had the speed, but he pushed a little too hard, and it bit him in the behind.
Can John Tinsley catch Sanchez? Doesn't look like it. And Carlos Sanchez out of Fort Worth, Texas, wins this LCQ heat and earns a spot to X Games Minneapolis.
That's the first rider we've seen with an outside gate pick pull it off first lap and keep it all the way through.
And you look at Carlos Sanchez early, like we said, there was some bobbling in his riding early on where we wondered if he was going to be able to hold on, but Lance, he just clinged to that bike, even with the step-offs, and Tinsley wasn't able to make the move. That looked like it was probably his best chance. And here's a look at Wiggins.
He pressed in hard and tried to kind of run him wide, but it really bit him in the butt.
You can't fault him for trying. But at the end of the night, Carlos Sanchez reigns supreme.
You know the old saying goes, if you ain't first, you're last.
Oh, I like that. Did you come up with that?
No, I said it was the old saying.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
But again, in these races, it really matters because if you aren't first, you're not going to X Games.
Well said. Carlos Sanchez is, though, on the 888. He's got to be hyped. So we move on to our 9th heat here in the LCQs. Stace Richmond, Chad Fry, Nick DeFroni, Alex Childs, and Bo Manley in this heat.
I'm trying to look for hair or a beard because is it the Bo Manley that used to ride freestyle motocross?
I believe so. But I've only seen 4 riders out there, so I don't think I see Manley.
Nick DeFroni, Chad Fry runs second.
So there's the 4 guys out there. It's going to make it a little bit easier to kind of stay safe. Not too many people getting in the way.
Yeah, no Manley. We'll find out why. I'm just being told that he dropped. So Nefroni leading this thing right now with Richmond's behind him, but so far early on has a comfortable lead as he holds on to the inside.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but does Nefroni's jersey say Slick on the back?
It does say Slick.
So maybe he this type of racing is his style.
Nick Nefroni, number 6'11", out of Huntington Beach.
Slick Nick.
24 years old. Rolls off the tongue. Riding that 01 Harley Sportster.
You do the math.
You were 11 when that bike came out.
You're getting so good at this.
4 laps to go, and Slick Nick just having his way with this course.
Has a 3-second lead in front of second place.
Perhaps the most comfortable riding we've seen out here tonight. Nick Nefroni.
That bike went off the other side.
Oh, did a bike go down?
Yep.
For Alex Giles.
Riders off the track. 3 riders left out there.
What was supposed to be a
5-man
heat was a 4-man race, now a 3-man finish. Final lap. And Nefroni will comfortably win this heat and earn a spot to X Games. So Nick jumped up into the top spot and never looked back, went coast to coast with it. Here's a look at that moment where he could tip the head back and celebrate. And there you see a look at our final results from our 9th heat. And Slick Nick earns a spot to X Games. Let's head down to Diana, who's with Nick.
Nick Nefroni, congratulations on that win, keeping it up on your 2 wheels. You are so young, 24 years of age, and coming out here dominating.
Thank you, thank you. It's been a long day of rough track, super slippery. I'm just stoked to make it out of this one for sure.
So now you're headed off to Minneapolis. What is the emotion running through your brain?
Super excited right now. I'm so stoked. This is the first time I've been riding for 3 years now, and last year I just wasn't ready. So I'm just stoked right now. I'm honestly speechless. I don't even know.
What is the game plan over the next few months? You have about 6-7 weeks until you get to Minneapolis. What is the preparation at hand?
I'll probably just ride as much as possible and try and get as much seat time as I can.
As much seat time as he can, and hopefully he can pull together another victory in Minneapolis. Brando, Vance, back to you.
Thank you, Diana. Yeah, Vance. So Nick Nefroni, as he said, literally has been doing this for 3 years. Reminds me of your buddy Ryan Kibbe in his first race. I mean, that's the beautiful part about Hooligan, is you don't have to have some storied racing background. Certainly it helps, but you just see guys who want to come out here, want to do it, chase after it. And Nick Nefroni, to the victor goes the spoils. He's going to the X Games, 24 years old.
So rad.
So we move on to our 10th heat here in the LCQs. Andrew Tucker, Kylie Yee, CJ Barham, Jake Cook, and Jeff Vasquez.
Looks like we're missing a rider out there. I see 4 guys pull out on the track. We see 2 lined up right now.
So I see Andrew Tucker. I believe I see Kylie Yee in the 03. Hey, shooter.
I think I
that's
see
Jeff
everyone
Vasquez.
except for CJ Barham.
Right.
I wonder what's happening. Are guys getting scared? Were guys hurt from earlier?
No, but now you're talking again for the second straight heat. 4 racers with 1 spot to X Games Minneapolis at stake.
Tucker with a quick lead. Oh! Vasquez looks like he went down in the second corner.
So Andrew Tucker leading the way early, 47 years young, out of Huntington Beach. Right behind him, Jake Cook. And Yee rounding out our top 3, but as you said, Vasquez going down. And without Barham here, it's a 3-rider race.
Tucker looks like he's got a nice 2-3 bike length lead right now. Cook's not right there on him, so he should be able to stay calm. But it doesn't look like Cook let him go. Cook caught up. You think he's gonna get him, Brando?
I think Tucker's got it. But we shall see. Oh, Cook's making it interesting. 5 laps to go.
Now check out the styling right here. Cook's more in like something you would just kind of wear riding your normal Harley on the streets. And Tucker's out there in full road race gear,
right.
Full leathers.
That's Hooligans in a nutshell, really.
There's no specific uniform out there.
So there have been moments in this race, Lance, where Jake Cook has gotten right on Tucker's heels, but Andrew Tucker, the experience showing from the 47-year-old as he won't let up.
Last lap. Can he hold on to it?
Cook's gonna make him earn it. Oh! A little too close for comfort, but Andrew Tucker is able to stave off Jake Cook. And he will be moving on to X Games Minneapolis.
Cook did a really good job, though, coming from behind. I mean, look, he's nearly in last place right there, to catching up throughout the race and really putting it on him.
And again, if you've watched this qualifying event the last 2 years, you know it's been in Boise, Idaho as part of our Road to X Games qualifier in an arena on concrete. This is the first time we've run this Hooligan qualifying event outside on dirt. So certainly a different beast for a lot of the riders that we saw out of Boise last year. But Andrew Tucker earning that spot, and he will be riding at US Bank Stadium. Just 2 more heats here in our LCQ, number 11. We've got 5 riders set to put it down. And we've got a battle right out the gate.
Something to keep in mind, Brando, is really this track is tiny. I mean, it is not even, I wouldn't even say it's a quarter of a mile, not even probably an eighth of a mile. and these bikes have upwards of 100 horsepower. You can imagine what kind of beast it is to tame out there on the dirt.
So Barnett leading this thing, 55 years old, out of Visalia, California. Holding off Bruce Tuya from Seattle, Washington. 5 laps to go, though. Barnett with a sizable lead, Lance. Merle Barnett working that inside. And 3 laps to go. I don't know who's touching him, Lance.
I am not sure, but I'll tell you what. I think with the age comes a little relaxation and proves that the lap times are a little quicker.
Yeah, it's been really neat to see the success of the 50-plus and even 60-plus crowd out here tonight.
So one of the things to keep in mind, these are street legal bikes. They are bikes that technically you could ride to work. But one thing that these riders have to do to make them race ready is they're taking the headlights off, they're taking the taillights off. There's no license plate on it, there's no blinkers on it. Those are a couple of the mods I think that you have to do to race the class, but it does need to be a street legal bike to start with.
Correct. So Merrill Barnett, 55 years old, had to make the pass on the inside over Tuya, and then there was no looking back. There you see the results from our 11th heat. Barnett taking it. So we get ready for our 12th and final heat, but let's head back down to the course with Diana Dahlgren.
I'm here with Stephanie Peets. Stephanie is no stranger to the dirt bike two-wheel industry. Stephanie, you've been coming out here for years, women's pro motocross racer. You know, you are leading the path for women to come out here and be a part of Hooligan racing. What does that mean to you?
That's kind of the plan. You know, I really want to get more women into it and have little girls, you know, have something to look up to. So I'm just pumped to be here and like to do well and keep, you know, shiny side up.
And you train with a lot of these men. Do they lay the pressure on you? Or do they go hard on you like you're another guy?
They do. They can get a little rough, but you just kind of got to give it back, you know. I just got to do my best. Like I'm racing with guys, so I got to try to keep up with them.
Totally. Well, you're doing a great job. Stephanie Peets, once again, thank you for always being such a role model to young women all over the world who want to ride motorcycles. Guys, back to you. Thank you.
Yeah, well said, Diana. She is fun to watch. And it is really rad to see a lot of the young girls out here. We saw some of the kids on the bikes earlier before we came on air. We saw a couple of young girls out there in that 3 to 7 age range, looking up to someone like Stephanie. So it's 12th and final heat here in LCQ's one final spot to X Games Minneapolis 2019 up for grabs. And it's these 5 riders who will duke it out to earn that spot. Dan Louders, Paul Summer, Cole King, Juan Arcio, and Michael Wells. Now we did see Louis Louders earn a spot earlier today.
We did. One of the guys that rings a bell, kind of stands out to me, is Juan. Juan's a buddy of mine, and he's an engineer over at Vance and Hines. So he kind of built that bike himself and out here racing, having fun.
And they're off. The final spot to X Games at stake. And Louders came out early with the lead, but it gets taken away from the outside. by Cole King. What an approach from Cole, Lance, to jump up into first place.
Cole King looks like he's on a whole nother level of speed compared to the last couple races that we just saw. He is getting this bike sideways. He is on the gas. I see him throwing roost. And he's kind of walking away with it right now.
23-year-old Cole King looking like a speed merchant. As we said, Dan Lauder's got the whole shot. Cole King had to come from the outside on that first lap. And now he's in first, and I don't know if he's going to let go. Oh, no!
There was a bike riding across the track by itself. Sorry, you may not have seen that on screen, but it did catch my eye.
There was a ghost ride of the whip right to the infield.
Maybe
Might
somebody
be able to show you that a little later.
One thing I want to say, Brando, is what year was this guy's Cole King's bike made?
1999.
No, I think that's 1990. Is it 99? Is that a 0 with a line?
Oh, I think you're right. That's a 19. Well, if that's the case, he's 23 years old. This bike is 6 years older than him.
Yep. Think about that.
I was told there would be no math, and yet I'm doing a lot of addition and subtraction here in the LCQs.
But again, it's just cool to see how long these bikes last, and how you know, these riders and all of us, we rebuild them, we have fun with them, we really put our hearts into them, and then we go out there and race them.
Final lap, and it's Cole King with a huge lead, and he's having fun out there right now.
I hope that somebody has the rerun of the bike kind of taking a ride along for it's in the middle of the track by itself.
Lance, we got a lot of cameras out here. I have a feeling we caught it, and we're going to show it to you. So here's a look at the start. As we said, Dan Lauder's got a really nice start, jumping to the inside, and you saw King right there looked like he might take the lead, went to the outside, but obviously had to come back around with Lauder's clinging to the inside of the track. And that is some professional looking racing right there. And there's that runaway bike you were looking at.
Who's on that bike?
I don't know who. That was the 83 bike. That was Paul Summer.
There it is.
Yeah.
Ghost ride the whip. Ghost ride.
You saw that, Lance, and it was like, squirrel. I lost you for a second.
Look at how good King slid that bike around the corners.
Yeah, Cole King looking so good out here. He is going to be a force
to be reckoned with.
He's going to be a force in the quarters, no doubt about it. There's a final look at our results from our 12th and final heat here in the LCQs. Congratulations to Cole King earning that 12th and final spot to X Games Minneapolis. Well, the LCQ's officially in the books here in industry. 12 heats of racing, 12 riders moving on, getting those spots to X Games Minneapolis. Speaking of X Games Minneapolis, let's take a look back at this race out at US Bank Stadium, how it all went down back in 2018.
So taking a look at the start list right there, you've got Daniel Mishler, you've got Jimmy Hill, Brad Spencer, you've got Benny Carlson,
Dave
Kilkenny, and Chris Boone are your 6 finalists here.
Man, anybody can win it. Like we talked about just a little while ago, anybody can win this main event. Boone stuck on the outside. Benny Carlson's got the inside on the inside. 45, he's got the inside. That's the best spot, I think.
So again, this is the Harley-Davidson Hooligan Racing Final. 6 of them here. They had to go through 6 opening qualifying rounds. Top 2 out of each one of those qualifying rounds advanced. Then we had 2 semifinals. Top 3 out of the semis moved on to get us to the 6-man final. And we are underway here here for the Harley-Davidson Hooligan Racing Final.
Rider from the inside gets the hole shot. That is Carlson. Carlson's on the inside. Here comes Kilkenny looking at the outside. Now Mishler slides into second, number 77.
So tight grouping here. Oh, we've got carnage. We've got a rider down right there. That is Dave Kilkenny, who slides out on the outside. So we've added 5 extra laps. In the quarters and the semis, we had a 10-lap race. Now it's 15, but it's number 45 as of right now. Benny Carlson, who's out in the lead.
Kilkenny just fell off on lap number 1. He finished second here last year. He is done for the night. Here's an onboard shot from 4th place, looking at the top 3.
It's Carlson, Mishler, and Hill, your 1, 2, 3. That is the onboard cam with Brad Spencer running number 7M right there.
We lose another one in turn number 4. We got 4 riders left battling for this lead, and they're stacked up nose to tail through turns number 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway, it's still Carlson out front, Mishler in second, Hill third, and Spencer in 4th.
Well, Mishler's trying to push the issue right there. He tried to overtake Benny Carlson there on the inside line, and he does. He takes the lead right there. Taking a look right there at the Pacifico Spider Cam.
Man, the leader made a mistake, and the second place rider was right there to capitalize. Mishler, the door was open. Mishler said, thank you very much, and shot right on through. So it's Mishler out front, Hill in second, Carlson trying to hang on to that 3rd spot. Spencer's right there on the back tire.
All right, now you got Brad Spencer there, Brad Spencer there in 4th place, trying to press the issue, trying to move up into that number 3 position. He's trying to overtake number 45. That's Benny Carlson.
Mishler sneaking away. Hill in second. Halfway flags are in the air for your leader. Out front, Mishler doing it for Mishler's Harley-Davidson.
So we're on lap 8 out of 15 right there, and Mishler is starting to separate himself from the rest of the pack. Daniel Mishler out to a sizable lead, but here we go. Brad Spencer again trying to challenge for that number 3 position.
Doing it for the old guys out there in that 4 spot. He needs to pass 1 more to get on the podium here at X Games. The rider in his way, it's Benny Carlson on the 45 bike.
And Brad Spencer was your winner at the Road to X Games Boise Qualifier out there in Idaho when we had the indoor race inside the arena out there.
Mishler sneaking away. Hills looks like he settled into second. Here's the battle for 3rd and 4th. Benny Carlson right there with the flare hanging off his jersey. Rodney Spencer right there in the 4th spot. Look, he's trying to high line, squaring off the corner, not able to make the pass, but he's right there just in case Carlson messes up like he did when he was leading just a few laps ago.
So we're down to our last couple of laps here. We're on lap 12 out of 15. It's still Mishler, Hill, Carlson, your 1, 2, 3 as of right now.
We saw the blue flag that was telling Chris Boone to get out of the way. There is your leader. Again, look how low air pressure he's running that back tire. That's enabled him to get off the corners really strong. He's getting all kinds of traction, a lot less wheel spin because that tire's hooking up and driving forward.
And he has really established himself a sizable lead here. So barring any incident here, it's looking like he will get out of here with top honors and bragging rights.
He was excited after that semifinal. I can't wait to see what he does after he wins this final. He's got about 15 bike lengths as they come to the white flag already.
You see Benny Carlson taking out some of the tough blocks right there, coming on that inside lane right there. We are on the final lap. White flag is out. Here we go. It is Daniel Mishler coming around and waiting. You see him looking back over his left shoulder right there, seeing how close anybody was behind him.
Whoa, battle for second. Hill barely edges out Carlson on the 45, and then he goes up into the air fence after he takes the checkered flag. Wow. He left it on a little bit longer than he planned and gets his bike all the way into the air fence, but how about it? Look at this. He is so excited. He just won at X Games.
So it's Daniel Mishler getting the win here in Harley-Davidson Hooligan Racing. What an afternoon he has had.
And guess what he gets to do? A victory lap.
Oh, the victory lap. It's a rite of passage out here at US Bank Stadium. Taking a look at the restart here.
I called that the 45 had the best starting spot, led into the first corner. Here comes the 77. He was back there in 3rd. He goes up the inside, gets by Kilkenny right here as Kilkenny goes around. That was 2nd place last year, not his year this year.
Yeah, you can see right there, he was challenging for one of those 3 spots, and then he just swabbed out the back end, and he came out and it ended up sliding out, and that would take him out of the race.
And that was the pass for the lead. Carlson slipped a little bit wide coming up at turn number 2, and that's all it took for Mishler to sneak on by and take home the win at X Games.
What a race that was last year at US Bank Stadium. Daniel Mishler proved he was up for the challenge, taking the win at X Games Minneapolis last summer. Crowds have enjoyed some amazing racing so far tonight with the LCQs officially in the books, but now we get ready for the quarterfinals. One rider that all eyes will be on, our winner from X Games Minneapolis back in 2017, JJ Flaherty. Let's take a deeper look at one of the most talented riders in this field. crowd on hand here. Getting ready for the quarterfinals. So we had some audio issues rolling that feature before, but I think we're all good. So let's go back because, as we said, not only is he a fan favorite, he's a threat to win this thing outright. He will be at X Games Minneapolis 2019. He is JJ Flaherty.
The Hooligan racing for me, I mean, it's like a perfect fit for me.
Looks like it's going to be Flaherty for the win. Woo, and he is excited. Great run. Your top 3.
Yeah,
all
look at him.
Very
Fist
competitive.
It's like everything I do just balled into one. My career, machinist, tool maker. I get to build a race bike, race it, get some cool sponsors out of it, and show my talents in other areas other than just riding, you know? It's like, this bike works great because I did a lot of neat tricks to it, you know, that are my own, and that's what's really cool about the Hooligan racing, I think. Got to get a good start, and if the track shapes into how it was at the end of practice, it's going to be a lot of single file racing, so you got to get a good start. So if I get a good start, I should be good to go.
JJ Flaherty, I like that feature better when we could hear him talking.
Yeah,
I prefer that version of it.
For sure. Actually, I didn't know he was a custom fabricator and built bikes himself.
That's awesome. So JJ winning in 2017, Daniel Mishler winning in 2018, and we've obviously got some riders that we didn't see in LCQs because they'd already earned a spot into the quarterfinals. But I think between those names, which we know, plus some of the riders that we saw in the LCQs, this thing's wide open. We talk about, oh, there's got to be a favorite, but we saw such great riding early on tonight that I just feel like it's anyone's for the taking.
There is a lot of names out there, but one name that rings a bell to me and a lot of the Hooligan racers is Rusty Butcher.
Yes.
And his street name is Mark Atkins, and he's going to be out there in this.
His given name?
Yeah, his birth name is Mark Atkins. Goes by Rusty Butcher, but he's going to be out there in this first race. We didn't get to see him in the LCQs, but I'm excited to see him race out there tonight.
Yeah, in the LCQs, we were routinely seeing 6, 5, and even sometimes 4 rider fields. Now we're in 4 heats of 12 racers each.
Yep.
The Guardado brothers each earning a spot to X Games Minneapolis in the LCQs. Let's explore what makes the brothers tick.
My brother and I have been racing our Harleys and working alongside Harley-Davidson with the Hooligan program for the last 3 or 4 years now.
I think it's pretty rad about the Hooligan series is that, you know, it's pretty much like your regular Joe racing series. Anyone can go out, buy a bike, and get out and hit the track and be racing all over the place. So it's a really attainable form of racing, which I think is really cool, and that's why the sport has grown so much, because you can really see it, go out the next weekend and go do the same thing.
Harley really stepped it up and gave us a lot of help in funds and getting to races and getting to support to be able to race the bikes that we loved racing.
Being that it is an X Games qualifier, it is nerve-wracking, but honestly, I get butterflies every race. That sticks around till probably making it through the first and second turns, and after that, then we're good to go and we're racing. I think consistency is the key out here, especially right now with the dry slick conditions. You know, it's knowing to be smooth on the throttle and to kind of dial back your speed, because you can be out there whiskey throttling and just blowing corners, and that's not really going to help you. To be able to be an athlete at the X Games is definitely like a dream come true. So it's something that is really special, and it's cool to be able to share that with my brother.
You know, you can put us anywhere doing anything, and as long as I have him with me, like, I'm good, I'm happy.
Such talented riders, the Guardado brothers, and it was amazing to see them both go heat after heat, and each of them earn a spot into X Games Minneapolis. We're getting ready to set it off here with the quarterfinals, but before we do that, let's head down to Diana Dahlgren.
You know, something special about racing is the family that's involved. Just like the Gordado brothers, we have the Garcia family here, father and son combo here. And you guys both are going to Minneapolis here in a few short weeks. How excited are you, Frankie?
You know, growing up, like going to the race with my dad every weekend and, you know, all the years doing this, and then finally we get to the point where we can go to X Games together. It's like, there's really nothing more you can ask for. It's probably the coolest day of my life right now.
You know, Frank, as a parent, you raise your children to do the things that you love, and here you go, you and your son now, and your son loves what you love to do, and you get to share something that's so special and sacred.
Yeah, it's really special. I have 2 boys that race motorcycles, and I get to ride with them on the weekends, and we go for rides. And I also am a musician, and I have a daughter that's a musician, so I can't complain. I can die tomorrow, and I think I'm good. I think I'll be.
Does he lay the pressure on the track? Does he make you have to, you know, you better keep your speed up?
Nah.
You're laying the pressure on Frankie. Well, Frank and Frankie Garcia, such a special, unique, fun thing that they get to do out here every single year and on weekends. Guys, back to you. Keep it in the family.
I love that. Frank Sr. throwing the shade, like son's not going to catch me here. They're both getting to X Games Minneapolis, but right now they're both here in the quarterfinals, Lance.
Well, we'll see what happens in Minneapolis.
So here we go. Quarterfinals, heat number 1, 12 riders. The top 6 will be advancing. This is what we've been waiting for.
I'm not seeing 12 riders out there, Brando.
Yeah, you know, I'm counting as well, and I'm coming up short on 12.
All right, watch the start. Here it comes.
So we see 6 riders in this first heat. We'll look to get a little more info on why this field slimmed down. But again, if you're just joining us, welcome to the Harley-Davidson Hooligan Qualifier. And we've been told now that half of the field's 6 riders have scratched. Dare I say they're feeling good because they've all got a spot to X Games Minneapolis perhaps, but the show must go on. Quarterfinal number 1.
Notice the speeds on a lot of these guys. It's a lot quicker than it was in the last races. These guys are the ones that qualified into these heats earlier on in the day.
So it's David Bush, number 44 with the lead. David Bush, 40 years old, out of Santa Clarita. Holding off Boyle and James.
It's been a long day for these guys. They had to load into this place at 6 a.m. So they've now been here for over, is it 14 hours?
Again, there's a lot of math that you're trying to push on us here in the broadcast booth.
Well, I'm trying to make it easy for the viewers to understand that these guys have been here all day, starting with practice lap times, then qualifiers, now they're into heats. So there are guys kind of falling off that aren't making it all the way through the night. But it's cool to see these riders that are still out there ripping.
So this is really, at this point, Lance, a friendly match, if you will, because we were supposed to have a 12-rider field with only 6 moving on to the semis. There are only 6 riders in this heat. Therefore, all 6 will be moving on to the semis.
Oh, now look who's doing all the math.
Well, when it's a paint by numbers, I'm able to jump in. But Frank Bush looking very good. And if anything, it's a preview of what's to come in the semis.
But take note, Frank Bush and Kirkpatrick, they definitely pulled away from the whole pack in that race.
So David Bush takes the top spot, but again, all 6 riders from this first quarter will be moving on to the semis.
Look at him just sliding his way to that checker flag.
Woo!
Pulls away with the win, looks back like, did I have a good lead on that one?
Under the lights here in the City of Industry, and it's David Bush taking the top spot, but all 6 riders moving on to the semis, which means we now move on to our second quarterfinal. We'll see if this one has 12 riders.
I think it's a little short as well. Looking through the window, not at the screen right now, I see somewhere around 6, 7 riders. Let's see, 1, 2, I'm doing the math here.
Keep
3.
going, I'm with you.
I see 3 right there, 4,
5,
6.
Even though he put 2 up, that doesn't count as more than 1.
I know there's enough guys out there that some people aren't making it to the next race. 5, 6, 7, 8.
There's 8 riders, so only 6 will be moving on. So we're gonna have a battle on our hands.
I wish you viewers could see what's going on here in the booth as Brando is using his fingers to count the riders.
You don't do that?
Track.
You brought a Texas Instruments calculator in here.
What happened there? Did someone jump the gate? Is he move? Is he having to?
That
move
was
to
Hill. So now he's got to move on to the back. And here's our field of 8.
We'll see if Hill can reel him back in and get to the front of the pack, having to start technically on the 3rd row.
Some big names in this heat, Lance, including the guy in first place, Daniel Mishler. JJ Flaherty obviously in this one.
Well, one thing I gotta say is Hill is a guy that I actually grew up racing motocross with. I don't think he ever went pro riding motocross, but again, now he's here, and he was, in the first gate. Made a mistake, and I don't see him catching back up just yet, but let's see if he can do it. Mishler holding his line real well, staying out in the front.
Mishler, again, our defending champ from X Games Minneapolis a year ago.
Mishler's coming up on Hill. He may lap him. 4 laps to go. We will see if Mishler can start lapping guys in this race. Oh, he's got his eyes on the prize. He's catching up. I think, unfortunately, I think I'm talking about some.
Oh no!
There's Mishler.
No, it's not. It's actually Brad Spencer. The standings aren't right. It's not Mishler who's actually in first place. It's Brad Spencer, who was our top-ranked qualifier a year ago. So it's not Mishler. It's 57-year-old Brad Spencer, a familiar name on the X Games Hooligan stage, who takes the top spot. Anything can happen here at Hooligan. He actually lost his transponder. That's why you're not seeing his name there, but it's actually not Mishler. Do not believe your eyes, believe your ears when I tell you Brad Spencer won.
That's why we have you here. I was getting all into the race and was looking past the screen.
Brad Spencer out of Gilroy, California. Thought he had the lead early. And then that was where we thought that Mishler had overtaken it. But Brad Spencer was able to fend him off. You saw the bike drop there midway through the race. But congratulations again to Brad Spencer. Familiar territory for good old Brad. The oldest competitor in our field last year. He does not have that honor this year, as we've got a 67-year-old in the field here tonight. So now we've got it correct. Those are the 6 riders who will be moving on to the mains, or excuse me, the semis. So Mishler does get in. JJ Flaherty also gets in. Louders, Hill, Bush. But it was all led by Brad Spencer. So I think we're seeing some moving and shaking from the initial lists that we got for this quarterfinals. Some guys that we thought were going to be in the 3rd heat moved up to 2 and vice versa. So just bear with us if we're making some name mistakes or if you're not seeing certain names on the screens. But it's now time for our 3rd of 4 quarterfinals. Again, just 6 riders from this heat will be moving on to the semis. Sanchez, Smith, Vasquez, Ginter, Bronstad, Chamley, Slay, and Boone. And they're off. And it looks like, was that Boone who got the whole shot? I believe so.
Notice the track's kind of ridden in a little bit more. You don't see as many riders laying it down in the first turn. Oh, a little squirrely, but more people are staying up. And look at the track. You see how there's those, they're called blue groove. And what it basically is the dirt's actually getting so hard packed that rubber from the tires is actually getting stuck into the dirt, which is actually making it a little bit stickier for the riders. Now the situation is if any dust gets on top of that, then it can become slippery.
7 laps to go. 43-year-old Chris Boone out of Tennessee is your leader.
You see them all lined up there, kind of tire to tire. Any one of them makes a mistake and they're getting by you.
Just been told Chamley is actually in 2nd place. He also lost his transponder, and so that's why you're not seeing his name up there, but he's currently sitting behind Boone with 4 laps to go. Again, qualifying in that top spot is nice, but you really want to get into the top 6 if you want to move into the semis. Schmidt right now holding on to that bubble position. So Chris Boone with a sizable lead with just 2 laps to go, Lance. You see the look back on the final lap. Chris Boone knows he will be moving on to the semis. And there you see a look at the finish. Those are the top 6 that will be moving on to the semifinals. Take another look at the start. Boone got to the inside. grab that lead and never let it go. The top spot out of the gate. And he earns this quarterfinal win, making a statement as he moves on into the semis. So there's a look at our list. Chris Boone leading the way here in heat number 3 of that quarterfinal. And Schmidt was sitting in 6th place, Lance, but it looks like Vasquez was able to best him and get into that 6th spot. So we're set to kick off our 4th and final quarterfinal here at the Speedway at the Grand. Our Harley-Davidson Hooligan Qualifier. A good look at our lineup. And it looks like we got a few more drops there, Lance.
Kind of circling the names right now on my sheet to try to keep an eye on who's out there.
It looks like there's only 6 in this final quarterfinal, so with that, we can comfortably say all of these riders you see on your screen will be moving on to the semis.
One thing I want to point out is there's 2 Biermans out there. And so there's going to be a father-son battle. Hopefully they get close to each other in that race, and you know, Rubbin's racing.
The elder Bierman earned a spot into the main last year in this qualifier, and Tyler did not. So we'll see if Tyler can best his dad or at least join him.
Now watch right there. Dad kind of tried to jump the gate a little bit.
Yep.
And he got pushed to the back, I think. Oh, wait, no. That was the number 8.
Yeah, that was Garcia.
Gotcha.
And they're off. There's a good look at that first turn.
Number 27.
Yeah, I think that's Vestal.
Two dads out there running 3-4, Garcia and Behrman. Those are the dads of 2 races that are going to X Games. So 2 father-son duos going to X Games, and 2 fathers are out there about to battle each other.
What an awesome story, but it's Vestal leading the way. Frank Garcia sitting right behind him. And Tyler Bierman rounding out our top 3, 7 laps to go.
Are we going to be able to see Garcia put it to Vestal?
Well, with 6 laps to go, there's definitely time, and we have a bike down.
Hunter Cleed down.
You see Garcia trying to make his move, but Vestal won't give an inch.
But 4 laps to go, anything can happen. Vestal can make a mistake. Garcia can keep an eye on him and know when it's the time to put it to him.
Vestal just clinging to the inside. Does Frank Garcia perhaps think about trying to jump around him to the outside? Or wait for a crease?
I'm just not sure if the track is ridden in enough on the outside lines, and he just won't get the traction he needs to slingshot around him.
Well, he knows he's already moving on to the semis. It's really about bragging rights of who's the top ranked out of this quarter. And right now it looks to be Vestal.
Last lap, they're coming up with a checkered. There it is. Vestal holds on to it. One thing to note is that Randy did not make it last year. So this will be, I think, his first year making it to X Games.
Oh, that's right.
That's pretty cool. I mean, to try 1 year, not make it, and come back the next year and seal the deal.
I think it's a neat storyline, just that in and of itself. But oh, by the way, you're getting to go on this journey alongside your son.
Yeah.
Just amazing. Along with the Garcias, as you said, Frank and Frankie. Oh! Vestal made it interesting there after the checkered. So what a way to cap off our final quarterfinal. It was Vestal taking the top spot, but there you see all 6 of those riders moving on to the semis. Let's head down to Diana, who's with the Biermans.
The Biermans are here, Tyler, Randy Bierman, another father-son combo. Now, this is just an amazing thing to watch. You know, you got the whole crowd cheering you guys on. Now, Tyler, you've had a very extensive background in two-wheel motorsports, from supercross racing, now to Harleys, flat tracking. How amazing is this experience to share it with your father?
Yeah, I mean, I've grown up and they've taken me to the races for years, and just to be able to give something back to them, obviously I can't repay them for everything that they've done for me, but if this is a little something, I don't know what is. I get to pinch myself to be out here with my dad, and I'm going to the big show with my pops, so not only does he get to go there and watch me compete in my other events, but I get to race the old man and hopefully put it to him.
That's right. Randy, you guys are going to Minneapolis. Express to me what it was like growing up with this kid on weekends with all the events you guys had going on.
Oh, it was awesome. I wouldn't replace it for anything in the world. We had so much time together traveling all over the country and stuff, and just had a blast. I wouldn't change anything. And so for him to kind of get into flat track, which is my background, and to come out here and do this together, I'm really pumped that I redeemed myself from last year. I had a spot and I threw it away on my own, so it felt good to come back and redeem myself and get in this time. So I'm really pumped.
You know, did you ever imagine that this is where you would be at where he's at in his life, that you two would be together at a flat track race going against each other?
No, I didn't think that. Actually, I'm just kind of riding on his coattails. Tyler's done an amazing job for himself in his racing career, and I'm super proud of him. And I'm just kind of pumped to come out here and be able to run around in circles with him, and especially go to the X Games now. It's going to be awesome. So.
Well, great son that you've raised here. Tyler Bierman, such an amazing career you've had as well. And Randy Bierman, the Bierman duo heading to Minneapolis. Branda, Lance, back to you.
That's such an awesome story. Thank you, Diana. Flat track really in their bloodlines. Randy's dad was actually a flat track racer as well. So our semifinals are officially set. Brad Spencer, at 56 years old last year, won our qualifier. He won one of our quarterfinals. He's moving on to the semis. Let's check in on the Gilroy, California native. But again, you can't count out the guys who literally just hit the course. Of course, Atkins certainly is a name to keep your eyes on. Brad Spencer, certainly. Terry Vestal. JJ Flaherty, and how about Ricky Renaro, who I think has just been sneaky good all night long. I would take his lap times against anybody in this field. He looked so good in that round of one and just picked up where he left off in the semis.
Well, he did end himself up in 8th place overall during practice for lap time, so.
It should be noted, race tires provided by Dunlap.
Well, you see all the rubber on the ground out there and burning tires. Someone's got to support him, so why not be Dunlop?
There you see the number 17 plate, Sam Fisher, out of Hartford, Wisconsin. Part of our 12-man final. JJ Flaherty has looked so good. There you see Daniel Mishler, of course Benny Carlson, Terry Vestal, 429, Ricky Renaro, Flair, Benny Carlson.
Is that going to affect him in this race?
Clearly, it was advantageous. I thought it was wind resistant, not an issue at all. And how about this guy? 7M, the oldest rider in the field by just 3 years, mind you. 56-year-old Gilroy, California native, Brad Spencer.
Something crazy to think about is all the guys up there in the front line are basically winners from the night.
Right.
So they all have what it takes to win.
These guys are ready to get this thing going. Again, all of them already qualifying for X Games Minneapolis, and here we go. It's 4:29. Ricky Renaro right out of the gate, picking up where he left off in the semi just moments ago.
And the 7M of Brad Spencer right there on him.
But there you see JJ trying to make his move in that third spot. Can he get around Spencer?
They're already catching lappers right now.
Yeah, Tyler Bierman just got lapped. And it's Ricky Renaro, but can Spencer catch him on the inside? No, Renaro cuts him off.
These three are tight right now. Anything can happen.
JJ trying to make the move to the inside. He's sitting in third place, but it's Renaro still holding on to the top spot.
Who's going to put a tire in to make it happen?
Can Spencer get around him? And it looks like he does. On lap 6, Spencer takes the lead.
The oldest and wisest rider out there.
56-year-old Brad Spencer. And now JJ jumps into second place. 2 laps to go. Can he catch Spencer?
Is Brad Spencer going to hold on to it?
It's a 2-man race with 2 laps to go. Spencer and JJ Flaherty.
So we have the last year's X Games winner for Hooligan in second place. In 7M, Brad Spencer in first. Uh-oh, look at him. He won.
And that was it. Brad Spencer, 56 years old, the oldest competitor out here tonight, wins Harley Racing Hooligan here at the X Games Qualifier. Wow.
That is inspiring.
Brad Spencer, who was sitting in second place early, made his move midway through, and then there was no looking back.
That pass was clean. He knew what he wanted, eyes on the prize, and he took it.
And JJ Flaherty, the guy with the hardware, the gold medal from Hooligan last year at X Games Minneapolis, has to settle for second.
But he didn't let him go. You know, Brad did not run away from JJ. A couple more laps, who knows what would have happened. Obviously, Brad won. But we're going to have to see what happens in X Games Minneapolis with these guys.
What a finish. These guys saving their best for last. It's Brad Spencer, JJ Flaherty, and Ricky Renaro as your top 3. Oh my gosh, that was such an amazing race just a year ago. Brad Spencer, can he pick up where he left off? We'll find out. Welcome back to the world of X Games. It's our Harley-Davidson Hooligan Racing Qualifier here in the City of Industry. And we're getting ready for our first semifinal of the night, 1 of 2. The top 6 from each semi will be moving on to our final here at the Industry Hills Expo Center. But Brad Spencer, what a story. Again, I felt like I said his age 8,000 times during that race, but it bared repeating. He was the oldest competitor in that field and put it down.
That's true. And one thing that I noticed about watching the race from last year, basically, those bikes were riding on the concrete.
Right.
They were able to lean them over so far with so much consistency all the way through the corner, all the way, every single lap, it was basically the same. Today, they're having to ride on the dirt. Is always changing. And I know I said that at the beginning of the show, but again, it's changing every single race. So it's cool to see these riders have to adapt, and it's cool to see them have to be patient during the the whole race itself.
11 riders, just 6 will be moving on to the main.
The riders still all bunched up out there.
And we're 9 laps to go. And surprise, surprise, who's in the lead? Brad Spencer.
How do you know that?
Again, I think he's having some transponder issues like he did earlier in the LCQs, but it's Brad Spencer leading the way with that 73S plate.
So Brad Spencer is he is one man who knows how to make it win, how to take it home.
Spencer looked so impressive in Boise just a year ago. Again, already earning another spot to X Games Minneapolis earlier this evening. Now he's just trying to get into the main. And with 4 laps to go, he'll have no problem getting there, Lance.
I love how Brad makes a point to always come out in just all black. It's almost like he's in a sweatshirt every time. Black sweatshirt.
That's right. He did that last year too, didn't he? In the hooded sweatshirt.
Yep. He's not trying to prove anything. He's not trying to be flashy. He just goes out there. And I literally think he's in the exact same pants he was last year.
So as I said, Brad Spencer leading the way. You may not see his name on the standings there on the screen. He lost his transponder, which is what allows us to put his name and connect it into the standings. He did it in the LCQs, so you didn't see it there. But final lap, Brad Spencer.
He takes it.
There's just something about his riding style and this format and these courses that we do these hooligan races on that just respond so well to Brad Spencer.
He makes it look easy. When you just sit there and watch him, it honestly doesn't look like he's going the fastest, but that's what makes him the fastest.
Now watch this, he did not, early on it was 44 there, you saw what we thought had the lead, but Spencer was just able to coast his way to the inside.
As cool as it looks when your bike's going sideways on the track or when you look like you're going fast, that, again, that's not always the fastest. The fastest rider is the one who keeps the traction down, the power to the ground.
And here's a look at passing that checkered flag. And really humble too. I remember this in Boise, you know, obviously, 57 years old, but doesn't have any major claims. I think it's just like business as usual for Brad Spencer as he moves on to the main.
Now look at the track like I was talking about coming out of that corner. Got a nice blue groove going, which is going to make it easier for these riders to come out with a little bit more power. They're going to be coming into the next corner with that much more speed than they have been all night.
It's time for our second and final heat here in the semis. We take one final look at the results. JJ Flaherty, by the way, a big name clinging to that 6th and final spot to move on to the main, and he does just that, besting James. Wow. JJ Flaherty, one of the best riders in this field. We haven't said his name much tonight. We'll see if that changes in the main as he's just able to move on. But it's our final semis group. Again, the top 6 from this crowded field will be moving on to the mains.
I see guys out there that were just out there racing. Tyler Bierman. I saw Frank Garcia. So they maybe had a couple minutes to rest, grab some water, maybe put some gas in the bike and get back out there and line them up.
Yep, both Biermans, Vestal, Garcia, Vasquez.
Oh, we had a gate
Chris
jump.
Boone, yep.
A gate jump, so he's gonna have to go back. 2 of them. Frank Garcia, and I'm not sure the other rider, number 13.
Chris Boone.
Chris Boone, so they're gonna have to get back there in the 3rd or 4th lineup. Let's see where they get lined up right now. And they're off.
Our second heat here in the semifinals. And is that Vestal who's got the lead? Picking up where he left off in the quarters.
That's right. He took the win in the quarters, and let's see if he can hold it right here in the semifinals.
Looks like Tyler Bierman behind him. Again, the top 6 moving on to the main. Right now it looks like Frank Garcia is in that bubble spot.
Again, I mean, these guys all want to make it to the main event, but everyone out there is going to X Games, so they're all going to race again in what, a month and a half?
Right. So how much does that play into the strategy? Obviously, Vestal's feeling good. You're in first place. You're where you want to be, but when you think about Tyler Bierman or Shamley there, do they get aggressive? Do they make a pass knowing that they're in a position to move on to the main and they've already got a big ticket to Minneapolis?
Well, I think we saw it earlier in one of the interviews. They were saying that their hearts always race in every single race that they start. And then after a lap or two, you kind of mellow out and you forget even, you know, where you are. You're almost just so in the race. That's all you're focused on. I don't even think that they're really thinking about X Games right now. They're thinking about what they're doing at that lap, that very minute. And they're racers and they want to win. I mean, let's face it.
So Bierman was looking to get to the inside of Vestal with 2 laps to go. But number 27, Vestal, has looked good all night, Lance. He is going to be a force in the final, that's for sure. And it looks like Bronstad is now holding on to that bubble spot, bouncing Garcia. Is that how it's going to finish?
And
oh, and Garcia able to squeeze by Bronstad and get that 6th and final spot to move on to the main.
What a race. All these guys are going to be smiles on their face at the end of the night.
A lot of smiles, a lot of high fives. Let's take a look at the start of this semi. Vestal put himself in a position to take the top spot from the very jump, and he never looked back. But Bronstad and Garcia had themselves a bit of a battle for that 6th and final spot. And at one point we thought Frank Garcia might be on the outside looking in, but if those standings end up being official, I believe Frank Garcia Sr. just squeaking into the main.
Yep. And these guys are getting no time to rest. I'm watching them right now have to go back out there and line up. You can see the tracks cleared off, and right to the right of the screen that you guys can't see if you're watching right now, there's already the racers that were just on the track. They're already out there lined back up. They didn't get a water break. I actually see someone running on the track right now. You can see him in the screen with a can of gas to go fill a bike up because they just ran a full moto and they didn't get to go back to the pits, and they must be running a little low on gas.
You've seen racing at all levels, Lance. The frenetic pace of this qualifier is probably unlike anything you've ever seen before in terms of guys literally just finishing a race and having to jump right back in.
Yep. So
we'll get a little course maintenance, but my goodness.
Yeah, so one thing that these riders are experiencing is arm pump. Basically, when you're holding on to the bike, controlling the bike for lap after lap, your forearm pumps up, and it makes it really hard to hold on to the handlebars. Really, it does. So these guys are experiencing it. And it's not getting any easier lap after lap, I'll tell you that.
Well, there you see Vestal, who just won that semi, getting gassed up. We're getting gassed up with the main, the final 12 riders left to see who wins it outright here at the Harley-Davidson Hooligan Qualifier.
So there's some, I'm going to try to get on Facebook right now and see who's watching this.
Can we run some comments?
And let's see where people are watching it from.
You know, Lance and I love to give shout outs. We love to hear where people are watching from.
So if you're on there, write a comment right now. I'm trying to get my phone open to check it out.
It's really a global qualifier, as we said. North America represented, South America represented. Australia has riders out here today. You see Vestal. Perhaps no one riding this course here better tonight than that man. Won his quarterfinal with ease. won his semifinal with relative ease. Just got fueled up. He's got to be feeling good. Brad Spencer, of course, winning our qualifier a year ago.
Brando, I'm seeing some of these guys comment right now. We have Haley Swift out of Charlotte, North Carolina.
What up, Haley?
Wow, we have, I want to say his name's Rowan, watching from South Africa.
Rowan, what's good?
We got Kyle cheering on. Kerry Miller out of Hawaii.
Ooh, Kerry. Trade spots with you, man.
You guys have any questions you want answered? You guys have bikes out there?
Gracie out of Galesburg, Illinois. What up? Anthony Martinez, Dallas, Texas. Stand up. Brad Benson and Minnie. We'll see ya. We'll see you in about 6 weeks, man. Athens, Alabama. Athcham wants a job, or Joib. So again, if you're just joining us, we're getting ready for the main. One single heat of 12 riders.
Oh man, look, Jay Henley out of Alabama. Was gonna race tonight, but I blew my knee out on Saturday racing at
Jay.
Beaver Creek.
Heartbreaker, man. We wish you were out here. Get him, Boone. Jay Henley. Yeah, he's out here.
Roland Sands is even out here watching it.
Hey, what up, Roland Sands? The Berman boys, baby. The family of the Bush Bros. Anthony Martinez out of Palmdale, California. Anthony, you could have come down here. Nathan, Australia. Well, thanks to all the fans commenting. Keep them coming. We got to get back to the broadcasts. But give us your predictions. Who do you think's going to win this thing? And have the bragging rights heading in to X Games Minneapolis.
So check it out. A lot of these riders, some of them had a couple minutes to kind of chill out in the pits, have a drink of water, and some of them have just been sitting out there since the last race. So that's gonna, you know, some guys' heart rates are still up, some guys' heart rates are down. We'll see how that takes effect to these racers out there.
Yeah, I think about guys like Vestal and Tyler Bierman. They raced in the last quarterfinal, then they raced in a semi, and now they're in the main.
Not to mention they got here at 6 a.m. to load in. Uh-oh. Vestal not getting his bike started. Does he need a bump? What's going on?
And it all comes down to this here at the Harley-Davidson Hooligan Qualifier. Our main final event, 12 riders. Who will reign supreme? We're about to find out. A beautiful look at our course. There is our start list and some familiar names, Lance Corey. All of these riders have been putting it down all night. This thing is wide open. Brad Spencer, of course, our top-ranked qualifier from last year. Vestal's been riding this course so well.
We'll see who takes it. No matter what, this is really good practice for X Games coming up.
Really good point.
Keeping the nerves up, trying to win races, getting exhausted, getting tired. It's all going to help in the long run.
This is what it's all about. Tyler Bierman, he'll be moving on to X Games Minneapolis. I want to let you fans know the race tires here tonight provided by Dunlop. Final race time. The main here at the Harley-Davidson Hooligan Qualifier. Who's gonna take the top spot?
And they're off. Vestal out there, is it?
Oh, and it looked like number 8 went down. Brad Spencer in familiar territory. Our winner from the qualifier a year ago is in first place.
Uh-oh, Frank Garcia out there in the middle of the track. Guys are having to get around him, get out of their normal comfy line.
This was the battle we've been waiting for all night, Vestal and Spencer. Perhaps no one riding this course better than those two, and they're 1 and 2 right now.
Can Vestal reel Spencer back in?
Brad Spencer, the 57-year-old, really staking his claim.
6 laps to go, and it doesn't look like Vestal's pulling him back at all right now.
And Brad Spencer has just been unbeatable all night. Lance, what are you seeing from his style of riding specifically on this course that's making him so good?
Again, I mean, even from last year to this year, he's really smooth with the throttle. I'm not sure if his bike's just that dialed in. You don't see his bike hopping too much on the track. And again, like I said, he almost doesn't look the fastest because he is so smooth.
It's so controlled. Daniel Mishler, our winner from X Games Minneapolis last year, is in 6th place. And JJ Flaherty, the winner in 2017, he's sitting in last place, but it's Brad Spencer in the top spot. And I don't know if anyone's gonna catch him, Lance.
Look at him go to the corners. I mean, it literally is like, it's art. He's so smooth, it just looks like butter as he's sliding through. There is a rider down on turn 1, the number 88 of Busch.
And that's the checkered flag. Brad Spencer goes back to back.
Wow.
Nobody races this Hooligan qualifier as well as Brad Spencer.
Let's see if he can take that energy and that momentum to X Games Minneapolis and take home an X Games gold.
Right, he was our top-ranked qualifier a year ago. It was Daniel Mishler, though, that took the win in Minneapolis. Let's see how Brad Spencer got it done, Lance.
Oh, Frank Garcia down. It's never fun.
But it was Brad Spencer getting the lead early. Didn't really have to fight for it. And Vestal, who we thought looked so fast on this track, could not catch the 57-year-old.
Look at him, takes a hand off him. He's like, yep, I got this.
That was a Shooter McGavin move right there, wasn't it? Well, Brad Spencer takes the top spot, but no one goes home a loser. All of these riders will be moving on to X Games Minneapolis. But congratulations to our top-ranked qualifier going back-to-back. Let's head down to Diana, who's with Brad.
Brad Spencer taking the crown here today. Brad, you absolutely dominated. And most importantly, you stayed up on 2 wheels, kept it consistent, and led every single race that you were in. How does it feel to be a back-to-back champ for the qualifying races? And then you're going to Minneapolis again.
It feels damn good. I mean, it was just, everything was spot on. It was working good. My kid made the right call, what I chose to ride tonight. It was great. And then also I like to thank some people out there. My wife's at home, she's battling. I like to thank Suicide Machine. I gotta thank Sean McConnell. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Mad Dog McConnell. I like to thank S&S, Bell Helmets, Oakley. I mean, hell, there's so many people, I can't think of them all, but.
Brad, you know, you have to walk us through some of these races here tonight. I mean, how you get out with a whole shot every single time and dominate on the course. What is the secret to your success?
Smooth and steady. Smooth and steady.
Well, smooth and steady is what gave him the winning card tonight. Congratulations, Mr. Spencer. Amazing. We'll see him in Minneapolis. Brandon, Lance, back to you.
Thanks, Diana. Smooth and steady. I feel like he must have been listening to your commentary, Lance, because that's what you've been saying all night about Brad Spencer. It's not necessarily about the speed, but he's able to strategically get that hole shot, and then he doesn't let go. You don't see any hobble, no bobble in his riding.
Yep.
What a race we had. It was a great night of racing, how we got here. Brad Spencer, of course, our top-ranked qualifier in 2018. Left no doubt about it in the LCQs. Looked cool as a cucumber in semis. Got the whole shot in the main and never looked back, Lance.
Yep, it almost seemed like he was racing himself all night. He never really got in such a gnarly battle with anybody. He kind of always took it away from the beginning and kind of raced his own race. And I think that was the trick. And obviously, like him and I both said, smooth and steady wins the race.
And there's a look at our top three.
Look at how cool that is.
Yeah.
I mean, for the age group that was out there, I see more older men up there than I do the teens and 20-year-old kids.
Yeah, it's great to see some gray up there. Vestal, I mean, he really raced so well all night. We expected that to probably be the battle, right? Those two, because they looked so good and comfortable on this course. But Brad Spencer really looked the part. I mean, he looked like the guy that was our top-ranked qualifier last year. So congratulations to those three. Let's grab some of the comments. What did you guys think out there watching of that main?
I see riders on there. I see, people on Facebook right now asking, how do I get into this? How do I get into this?
How do you get into it, Lance?
I would say first things first is go to the local Harley dealership, kind of get to know the people. They're usually very friendly. Talk to them, see what bike you comfortably fit on, and they'll let you take a test ride. Take a test ride and see if it's something you want to get into.
Yeah, it's amazing. Brad Spencer made it look so easy. Last year's race in the qualifiers, there was a bit more flair of the dramatic. There was a battle for the top couple spots. We saw a bike go down. This one a little more anticlimactic, but no less sweeter, as Brad Spencer makes it 2 in a row. Again, there's a look at our top three. Talked a lot about Spencer and Vestal, and obviously Boone as well. Boone had his work cut out for him, if you remember, to get into that main. He had gotten bumped to the back during his semi. He was able to get into that top 6 field, make it into the final.
All right, Brando. All right, Brando, I want you to do some math for me. How many years of racing do we have out there on the podium?
God. Well, I can tell you this. I don't know as far as racing goes, but we've got well over a century of just men on our screen right now.
Yep. I would say that's motorcycle experience, and that's kind of why you see them up there, 1, 2, 3.
And the plates say it all. Officially invited to X Games Minneapolis.
Look at that, stoked.
Congratulations to all our competitors. But at the end of the night, it was 57-year-old Brad Spencer reigning supreme. Well, what a night for racing here in industry. Congratulations to all our competitors here at the Harley-Davidson Hooligan Qualifier. Many thanks to Diana Dahlgren, Lance Corey, Echo Entertainment, X Games. I'm Brandon Graham. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see ya at X Games Minneapolis.
Sorry, I want to see you guys.